Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the Back Office Teardown Lab. I have this watch which was a gift, and it's several years old, and you can see none of the needles are twitching anymore because the batteries have run out. And this is a diesel. I'm not really sure what it's actually called. Maybe it was a Big Daddy, something like that. And you can see it certainly is a Big Daddy when it's on the wrist. Maybe you need a big thick wrist, not like my wrist, but it's cool. And if you like world time, you got it all there, straight on the face. So the problem with this is, of course, it's going to have loads of batteries, because we can see here it's not going to be a fancy mechanism that controls all this. It's just going to be loads of smaller quartz mechanisms. So what I did, I went on Amazon and got a whole bunch of batteries from Adimax. In fact, I don't think it was Adimax in the listing. Doesn't matter. They're just general battery cards. And then I bought this thing, which says it's a watch back remover tool. Oh, and it's like a whole set. A little cloth. Oh my gosh. So if you're into, I don't know what they call it, horology. There's definitely a hobby. If you Google YouTube's underbelly, there's a whole big load of watch modding and watch restoration and watch everything. Very much like electronics channels, like this one is watch versions. Now I'm just going to figure this out as I go along, because it kind of looks obvious. I'm not sure what these cloths are for. Is there even an instruction? Is that an envelope? Hang on, I'm just curious now. What's the envelope for? It must be for storing. Yeah, it's empty. An empty bit of envelope. I'm sure it's for storing all your screws and stuff. But so I'm going to crank this. So this is a tool for taking the back off things that have screw backs. So you can see there's all these notches. And if I'm lucky, this will open out big enough. It's a bit worrying though that this side seems to be a bit smaller than that side, like they weren't wound onto those threads correctly at the same point. Now we're getting close. We're probably about another 4 mil, so I think we're going to really max this out. Let's try again. Nope, it's fine. So I'm going to wind it back in as much as possible. Is that the right direction? No, that's winding out. Right, we wound it in. Now let's see if I can turn this. No. Right, might have to cover the old camera now. Sorry, my hand will be in the way because. Yeah, there we go. So I got a bit of a twist on that now. So let's see if it's finger tight yet. Yes, it is. I mean, but you probably opt to use this. I can't see how these don't damage the watches potentially. I'm sure if you have fancy watches, you've got fancier versions of these, because they're going to leave a mar. Strangely enough, I had to readjust that. So what do you think we'll find in here? Oh, there we go. Was it? It's weird really. I'm not sure how many threads are on there. Not many. So I do believe this will be a job for tweezers. So they're made by Fossil, this brand. So it's a real watch brand that looks after this. Oh my gosh. I think we're pulling out this as well at the same time. Let's keep that pushed down, shall we? Yes. Phew. And look at that, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, you've got a tiny mechanism there, a little digital one there which has got a screw, and it's floating. So these little things on the side are the push buttons that touch those contacts there. Right, let's hope that some of those batteries we bought are correct. So these are actually Sony batteries too, these are legit. Oops, we put my finger there. Oh, it's all trying to come apart. Gotta be careful with this. How is this mechanism put together? Look at these clips that are non-trivial. I mean, that one, I'm not sure how that works at all, but let's go with this one. This one does look like a simpler option, and we'll use the tool that came in the kit. So this is a tool for removing watch straps, apparently. So there's the little Sony battery, and I'm struggling to see what you call that. SR621, an SR621. And maybe they're all that battery. We'll figure that out as we get more off the unit. So if we remove that little screw, this battery will come out easier, but I'm just wondering if it can be twiddled out. So how many watches do you have in your drawer of shame? I have to admit, I've got quite a lot, but since taking up running and outdoor activities and having watches specific to that, I find I end up just wearing those now in all circumstances. There's no need for any kind of fashion watch for me. It's the trusty Garmin all the time. Right, there's that little tiny screw here. It's slightly magnetic. So that's that second battery, yep. Now I think I'm going to put that tiny screw on the back cover here. No alarm to worry about. That's not too bad, that one. That's actually a lot easier. And again, oh no! The module is coming awry. Those are tiny little modules, aren't they? Just that little rectangle. And it's only held in really by that plastic piece at the back. Now, see if I can slide this without having to undo the other screw. Clearly not. Oh. As I was saying, we're all shifting to these smartwatches though, because we need them to adapt to our lifestyle, and they're getting data, so they feel like they're earning their keep. So it's hard to not use one really, because it feels like you're not getting your metrics otherwise. Now I'm just keeping this in the watch because I don't want any dust to drop through that aperture onto the actual face. Right, oh, look at this bloody thing. So it really required a lot of messing around to get that battery out, which is slightly smaller from the look of it. And now the last one here. Can we go in any further? You can go in a bit more. Look, there you go. And you see that there looks a bit like a pivot, but like everything, I think it needs that screw to be undone. So I'm going to see if we can go in there. Ah! That was pretty horrible. It did need me just to focus a lot of energy and torque onto that tiny, tiny little screw you see there. But I did get the battery out, and again, another size, even smaller, even flatter. I'm going to dig into this pack now and see what we've got. What a pants state of affairs. So these are the 4 batteries that came out of the watch, each one a different size. And these two do look similar, but this one's actually flatter than this one. And that one that just pinged off was the equivalent of apparently an AG1 in this new kit. I think I'm going to have to order more batteries because I don't think those cards do the job. I didn't give up right away. You can see I went through and checked out all the other batteries just to see what other options I had. And there are at least one more option for this size. So fiddly. But if I can get that just nipped up a touch, I think we'll be good. Now they're all the same voltage, so as long as you can make it fit, you're winning. If I was smart, I'd probably get a bit of emery paper and just sharpen the end of this screwdriver. But that's 2 of them now, so I'm going to put my finger on that module to stop it falling out. And oh yes, we have a needle ticking there and one there. And I remember that annoyance that the second hands don't line up, so I remember leaving the doodad out on the crown to let them catch up and then synchronize. Right, what else will fit? So this is the smallest battery we have in our set, and if we there's no chance it's going to go in there. None whatsoever. And with this one, That's exactly the same. Boom. Maybe I can recharge them. Should we try that? Sounds dangerous, because it probably is. So we need to figure out which is the positive. The outer part of the case is the positive. So let's see. I've got my... In fact, let me turn that off. That's my voltage source, and it's set to 1.5 volts. There we go. I'm not really sure how you'd know how much charge it's taking doing this. Did it do anything? Here's the battery. Let's measure. 1.58 volts. Now we do have a brand new battery right here, which I'm going to measure. 1.45 volts. And we do have another old battery that we presume is dead, and 0.3 millivolts. Or sorry, 0.3 of a volts. So technically, if we pop this in, it will work. But I don't know how much charge likely it's going to hold, really. I mean, realistically. But what I have done is taken a photograph of all of the gubbins, all the different batteries, so that I can order them anyway, because if you're in the middle of a project like this, I think the safest thing you can do is pop the whole assembly back together. Unless you've got some elaborate trays and for keeping all these bits and bobs. I mean, that's another thing about watching a watchmaker work. They've got billions of little gears, especially if it's a mechanical watch. And they just seem to know where they all go. I think you probably get used to it. There must be a standard pattern and a standard way they're made. But it is absolutely mind-boggling, the array of gears and jewels and pieces of crown and pieces of bezels and all sorts of bits that they're capable of remembering where they went. So that's in now. So if I just flip this around, we can see, oh, look at that. It is actually working. Okay. Not sure how long that's going to work for, but great. I think I'll have a go at charging that other battery as well. Obviously, suffice to say, do not attempt charging your own watch batteries because they're likely to bang and scoot off somewhere. However, I mean, they're hard enough to pin down just to put a multimeter on them. 0.3 volts. This time we're doing a sanity check just to make sure that it really is doing something. Yeah, I can check my multimeter. I keep calling it multimeter. My bench power supply. Whoa, I was shorting it there because the bit of magnetism made the battery jump. So the positive and the negative were on the same bit. So I'm just monitoring the current, and there is very little current being drawn. I have it at 2.7 volts and I'm struggling, there we go, to find a position where the teeth aren't shorting. And I'm not sure how long to hold it. I didn't hold it very long last time. It's drawing 24 milliamps. It's like not much at all. And if I take that off, I'm reading 19 milliamps. So let's hold it for a little bit longer. We could have had a timer on the screen to measure it. Whatever that was, that seems long enough. And then we've got the old multimeter. 1.6 volts. That'll do. So I'll pop that in. Again, if you're working on your, Rolex or something, well, basically don't do this on a watch that costs significant money. I mean, these aren't. I don't think these are cheap watches, but they're definitely not Rolex money. That's for sure. This thing here is just bonkers how you have to hook it. So I'm going to push down with this. I'm going to get this little latch hooked over. Oh, it almost sprung out. And apologies if you can't see anything. Oh. Just got to get it started and then we'll be okay. It was really hard to get out, this one. But that's it. That is in. There we go. Right. I think we got to put everything back together really before we can see if that's worked or not. So we'll pop this plastic thing back in. Oh, and it does have a keyway on it. It's an ever so small one. I suspect it's got that little notch at the bottom because this module probably comes pre-installed into that, which I'm going to do. Let's try that. And it's still working. It's progressed by 3 minutes. So let's see if it works this way better. Yes, it does. Nice. Think of all the room they had here. They could put one huge battery instead, but then that would require specialist innards. Now you remember it didn't. It was weird. This I twisted it right off, but I can't remember. Does it have a twist, or was it a clip? Oh right, no, it does have a. Ah, okay. Where's the thread? Is it there? Okay, so what I did, and it needs a bit more, I'll do that now. What I did is I put it on there and I use this tool to keep spinning it in the wrong way, as if you're taking it off till it clicked, so when it would seat, and then went in the correct direction. And Bob's your auntie. Yeah! It's back on. So, has there been any progress? Well, so off camera I did calibrate all these and you can see against the minute here basically 52, 52-ish, 52-ish, 52-ish. So that seems to have done the trick for now. I was having a little play. For example, these buttons set the date and whatnot on there. However, if you go over to here, you've got these start and stop buttons. So if I push this, I can get this little timer at the bottom to start spinning. And I think if I press the bottom one again, does it do anything? That would be the split normally. Doesn't seem to do much. But then if I press the top one, that would definitely stop the stopwatch. And then if I press the bottom, you can see it resets. But I'm not sure about these other two, if they're just purely ornamental, or there is a way to get them to do anything. So I am just trying to hold these buttons in different combinations. I don't think it does anything. And of course you have the date here. And I'm going to pull this out very gently because there's normally 2 clicks on these crowns. Nope, that did the time. Is there an extra click? No. Yeah, I'm not sure how you do the date. Can't believe you have to do the date by, you know, literally this. That's going to be a bit painful, isn't it, when it comes to the end of the month? Oh, and it didn't even turn the date. However, look at the other little needle. That one up there actually is moving. So that's midnight. Midnight. Something is a bit weird on here. Oh no, it did. Look, the date did roll over. I'm just going to do a sanity check though, purely. Oh, thank gosh, it does have that. So, I think it's fit for all intents and purposes and ready to go back on the old wrist. I'm just going to lash it there, see how it fits. Clearly in the past I had bigger wrists, far bigger wrists, I can assure you. All that wrist action. But there, look at that. Douche. It's like something like a knuckle duster. Thanks for watching.